I've done many a video regarding this song, and here's yet another one. Today I'm going to be testing the historical accuracy of the Animaniacs First Ladies song. Technically the correct name is FLOTUS, FLOTUS, what do you know about us? But that is way too long to say. I want to start this video off by saying I am in no way a professional historian. I am in no way an expert in history. I'm just a girl who is a nerd and loves learning about cool things that cool people did in the past. Or awful things in some cases. But now to actually get into the video. Breaking it down line by line.
First Lady Martha Washington stood strong at Valley Forge.
This lyric refers to the fact that Martha Washington, who stayed with her husband at camps during the Revolutionary War, including at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, the specific place that Dot mentions in the song. She supported and aided the troops there.
And good old Dolly Madison saved Martha's husband George from the British in the White House in the War of 1812.
Dolly Madison didn't save George Washington himself from the White House, but she did famously save his portrait when the White House was attacked by the British, which is shown in the visuals with Dot taking the painting of George Washington and running away with it.
Eleanor Roosevelt, lady on a mission, head of the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Just like a tea bag, you knew Eleanor was strong, 'cause she thrived when in hot water, just like me singing this song.
Eleanor Roosevelt was the chair of the UN Human Rights Commission, so this lyric is correct. And the next line is a reference to a specific quote of hers. A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water.
Lady Bird Johnson kept America clean.
Lady Bird Johnson is most well known for her environmental and beautification efforts, with her helping to pass the Highway Beautification Act, which was also nicknamed Lady Bird's Bill, which we see referenced in the background of this part of the actual animation from the show. I don't know if you can really say that means that she quote-unquote kept America clean, though.
Betty Ford and Nancy Reagan too, if you know what I mean.
This lyric refers to how both Betty Ford and Nancy Reagan combated against drug addiction. Betty Ford opened a clinic named after herself for those struggling with addiction, and Nancy Reagan had her Just Say No campaign, both of which are referenced in the background of the cartoon.
Michelle Obama is an icon who put veggies in your school.
This is a reference to how Michelle Obama advocated for healthier school lunches.
And like Jacqueline Onassis, the epitome of cool.
That lyric is more of an opinion than a fact, so I can't really comment on its historical accuracy.
Rosalind Carter lobbied for the Equal Rights Amendment.
Yes, Rosalind Carter did indeed lobby for the ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment, of which was never passed. And here is a cool image of Rosalind Carter, Betty Ford, and Lady Bird Johnson all advocating for the Equal Rights Amendment. Free girl bosses, am I right?
Florence Harding ran a paper till her husband became president.
Florence Harding did help run a newspaper. But I'm surprised about the fact that Dot mentioned the fact that Florence Harding ran a newspaper, and not the fact that she was the first Lady to vote, or that she supported women's suffrage and women's rights.
Abigail Adams helped John form his politics, and her son John Quincy Adams was POTUS number 6.
Abigail Adams was a close political advisor to her husband and was indeed the mother of John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, One inaccuracy, though, is that the cartoon portrays John Quincy Adams as a baby, even though John Quincy Adams was already a fully grown adult when his father, John Adams, was president. Despite her not saying anything about her accomplishments or anything about Martha Jefferson, there are already two inaccuracies. She says that's just 11, even though Martha Jefferson was the 12th First Lady that she mentioned, not the 11th. And also, Martha Jefferson technically doesn't count as a First Lady because even though, yes, she was the wife of a president, but she died before her husband was in office. She spends the next section of the song just listing First Ladies, so I can't really talk about the historical accuracy there.
What was I thinking? I had 3 verses on the tragic life of Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mary Todd Lincoln's life is indeed pretty sad. She lost both of her parents at a young age. She watched most of her family, including her husband and most of her sons, die. And she was even admitted into a mental asylum, so...
Thanks to Hillary Rodham Clinton, we almost had a first man.
This lyric is a reference to the fact that Hillary Clinton ran for president in 2016, becoming the first woman to be nominated for president by a major political party. However, she lost the election to Donald Trump. There is one inaccuracy in this lyric, though. She says, "We almost had a first man," which isn't exactly correct. Because if Hillary Clinton had won the election, Bill Clinton's title would have been First Gentleman, not First Man. There are some mistakes from the section in which Dot Rapid Fire just mentions First Ladies without talking about their accomplishments. For example, she forgets to mention Ellen Wilson, who was the first wife of Woodrow Wilson, who died during her husband's presidency, only for him to remarry to Edith Wilson, of whom is mentioned in the song. And because of this song being written before Joe Biden's presidency, Jill Biden obviously isn't mentioned. Dot also forgets to mention Elizabeth Bess Truman, of which is actually joked about in the show. Also, Dot mentions Rachel Jackson and Ellen Arthur, both of which technically weren't First Ladies because they died before their husbands were in office. But they were still the wives of presidents, so I guess you could say that it isn't really an inaccuracy. So that's all I've got from a video today, guys. Bye! I hope you enjoyed listening to me yap about First Lady history.